Hey guys, what is up? Cable here, repping the Triple B experience like always. Today I'm bringing you another Triple B showcase, one of our many shows under our brand. I'm going to do an unboxing. It's going to be some wrestling figures. Haven't done wrestling figures in a while. And it's not any specific wave. It's just my latest order from Ringside Collectibles came in. I figured open them all up in one video. All right, so first we got WWE Elite Series 91, Rob Van Dam, Hulk Hogan. Then we got Series 92, Ric Flair. And we got Ringside Collectibles exclusive ECW era Cactus Jack. Very excited to get into all these figures. Really cool figures. And it's exciting for me because I don't get a lot of wrestling figures these days. With the product the way it is, conversation for a whole different video. And the fact that they don't focus a lot on flashbacks is what they used to call them, but they're figures from, the old WWF days, Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era, WCW, very few ECW figures. Those are what I focus on. I don't collect modern day WWE figures, so with them not being able to get a lot of new flashbacks or legends, whatever you want to call them, I don't get as many wrestling figures. Pretty simple. But I got a good haul today. There's just the right amount of figures and a nice mix of what I needed for my collection. So we'll start with the ECW Cactus Jack. This figure, really cool idea. They've had a couple Cactus Jacks now. The ones with the more famous look with him in the Cactus Jack shirt. It looks like a wanted poster. They had two of those. I think they had a couple, but they re-released. One had the flannel looking shirt over top of it. But this is cool. This is ECW era. A few different reasons I like this figure. Looks great. Seeing this up close for the first time. They really nailed young Mick Foley. They didn't just use the same head scan that they used for the other Cactus Jack figures. New head scan. He even has his tongue poking in between where he's missing a tooth. That's cool. He's got the bang bang finger pose. Cowboy boots. His tights just say cactus. But one of the really cool things about this figure, he has a cloth ECW shirt. That's awesome. Me, and I'm sure many other collectors, because there's a lot of us that do similar, they only collect the flashbacks. Anytime you get like a cloth shirt or an accessory that is specific to ECW or WCW, that's a big bonus. And then, it also came with this. Just a cardboard backing that looks like the flag or banner, I guess, the banner that they used to hang in the earlier ECW days where they would do promos and stuff. Now, in the pictures, I thought that this was actually like a cloth or a plastic banner, and it's not, but that's not a big deal. He comes with semi-closed hands that aren't the bang bang fingers. But one thing that's just as exciting as the figure itself, the last accessory is the ECW Tag Team title. That's really cool because if you go back to my ECW Bam Bam Legends unboxing video I did, he came with the ECW television title. And just like I said about the cloth shirts and stuff, a huge thing for people that collect these figures is new championship belts. And they had said that they wanted to put a focus on getting belts out that they haven't had yet. So now with this, you'll have all three of the ECW major titles, the TV, the world, and the tag titles, which is great. And then in the next line that's coming out, they have a Steamboat WCW era with the WCW television title, which is really cool. And then they have a Invasion era Undertaker with the late 90s WCW tag team belt, which is really cool. Because they're just knocking all these belts out. Okay, so next, we'll go Rob Van Dam right away. One of his most iconic looks from his WWE days. First thing I think of is the King of the Ring, where he was in the finals against Brock Lesnar in 2002. I'm almost positive he wore that attire in that match. So that would be Ruthless Aggression era through and through, which is why I picked him up. I have the only other Rob Van Dam figure they put out in the ECW line. So it would be good to have another one because I could do an ECW and a WWE shelf now arrangement. Okay, amazing job with this attire. The idea to do this tiger stripe singlet is awesome. Of course, he's got the RVD thumbs. The scan is pretty good. It's not an exact likeness. It's better than the first one, obviously, because they have the true scan now. It's still not perfect, but everything else is. Looks really good. And he comes with a steel chair, plastic steel chair, and some half-open hands so you can switch out. Because the other figure, it came out so long ago that they didn't do extra hands, extra heads, stuff like that. So he's constantly in the RVD pose. All right, next up is the other figure from line 91. This is Hulk Hogan. And this is also based on his WWE run. So that, Ruthless Aggression era again. They've really been pumping out the Hogans since they were able to bring him back in the fold. I don't see me needing any more Hogans now because they'll have basically all of his eras covered. They've got early 80s, early 90s, NWO, and now early 2000s Ruthless Aggression era Hogan. Ton of accessories, which is cool. Everybody's entitled to their opinion of the guy. Obviously, he's said and done things that he shouldn't have. But I don't collect figures based on the people. I collect figures based on the time period in wrestling and things like that. So, good Hogan figure. This is the first one they've done with him in his tie-dye tights. So that looks really good. The Hulkamania bandana. The head scan is okay. I believe that's a head scan they've used for a lot of their figures now. Doesn't really represent Ruthless Aggression era Hogan very well. But I'm sure after the sunglasses are on him, you won't really be able to tell. Yeah, that looks pretty good. But he comes with his Hulkamania bandana. He's got sunglasses. He's got red and yellow boas. He's got a Hulkamania shirt. Hulk Hogan white belt. It says Hollywood. Which I don't know if that's accurate. I don't know if it still said Hollywood after he went back to the red and yellow. He's got a knee brace on. First Hogan figure they've made with the knee brace. He's got 3 different sets of hands. He's got fists, open hands, or slightly open hands, and then hands that are all the way open. So you can do his ear pose. Really good figure. The detail on the boots is great. That will be going on the Ruthless Aggression shelf, which is how I pose my elites, my WWE figures by era. So that makes a good addition to that era. All right. And last but certainly not least, maybe last WWE Ric Flair figure. That remains to be seen. I was very excited when I saw they were making this figure, and I was very relieved when they released it still after he had been released by WWE or asked for his release, which is quite telling because if you look at the back of this box, not really figure oriented, but almost the entire line isn't with WWE anymore. So I was happy to see they still put this figure out. This is a Ric Flair that I've wanted for a long time. This is the first Ric Flair they've made where he has his short hair from the early to mid 90s. A robe would have been nice, but it did come with something, I don't want to say it makes up for the robe, but something just as important. Like I had just stated about the Cactus Jack figure, anytime you get brand-specific or company-specific accessories outside of WWF, it's exciting. He's got a classic Four Horsemen shirt. Looks like, you know, from the 95 era, maybe Four Horsemen, somewhere in there. Maybe even older. I can't, but I remember seeing that, or a very similar logo like that in the 90s. And then he's got a WCW logo microphone, which is pretty cool. He comes straight out of the package with his knee pads under his knees, which is also classic Ric Flair. That's cool. The yellow tights is a really nice touch. Yellow boots, the short hair. The scan is pretty good. Maybe I just set the bar too high with this Cactus Jack figure, but out of the 4 figures here, the Cactus Jack scan is miles ahead of the other ones. But this one's pretty good. This one, I think, is better than Hogan and Rob Van Dam. And he comes with an extra set of hands with the 4 fingers, 4 horsemen hand gesture. That is a pretty good figure. WCW and especially ECW figures also don't get a lot of love from Mattel these days. So to see a WCW era Ric Flair is really cool. Great figures all in all, other than a couple critiques on the faces. They're all awesome figures, great additions to the collection. I'll give you guys an up-close look at them, but I really like everything I've seen here so far. Let you guys see them up close, give them a rating, and we're going to call it a day. All right, here we have them, up close and personal. Ric Flair, Cactus Jack, Rob Van Dam, and Hulk Hogan. These are all great figures. They were all needed, I guess, I want to say, from the eras. We really needed a 90s Ric Flair. I'm glad they got it in. If, you know, they're not able to make more Ric Flairs with his current status. So I'm really glad we got that. ECW Cactus Jack. I don't know if I would have asked for it, but I'm really glad we got it. And it's a great way they were able to work in the title belt. Ruthless Aggression era Rob Van Dam, and certainly Ruthless Aggression era Hulk Hogan. Also very, very called for. So let's go into these ratings. The ratings are going to be tough. feel like every time I do a rating, I almost never have a bad figure in here. They're always like in the 4 out of 5s range. And that trend isn't going to stop today. I can tell you that. Man, these are all awesome figures. You know, looking at them, really wish Mattel and WWE were able to roll out the flashbacks, because there's nostalgia tied to each one of these figures and looks in wrestlers. But I need to stop putting off the ratings just because they're going to be tough. We'll start with Ric Flair. Elite 92 Ric Flair, 90s era Ric Flair. I love the yellow and green attire choices. You know, accurate to something he wore. I believe he wore that when he wrestled the Giant. It has, you know, the Four Horsemen shirt, WCW microphone, Four Horsemen hand gesture. A short hair Ric Flair is all you really need to say. But if I'm going to rate this figure, I'll go 4 out of 5. That's tough. I really like the figure. I like everything about it except, you know, the face scan just isn't quite Ric Flair. You know, they didn't nail it with the face scan. And it'd been cool if they either did an alternate head or just even the main head if he had, you know, his mouth, the gesture of him wooing. Like that pose right there. If he was given a woo, that would be perfect. But we'll go 4 out of 5 on that. You know, Cactus Jack, the best face scan they've done for Mick Foley yet by a mile. One of the best face scans to come out of WWE Elite in a while, and at least out of the figures I collect. And that's saying a lot because they're really killing it with face scans lately, especially on a Ringside Collectibles exclusive figure. Knocked it out of the park. You know, the tongue through the gap where the missing tooth is amazing. Finger guns is awesome. Cowboy boots, the whole look's great. Really love getting the ECW shirt. And of course, finally getting an ECW tag title. I'm just gonna give that one a 5 out of 5. Gotta do it. It's a perfect figure for ECW era Cactus Jack. Love it. All right, now Rob Van Dam. We need a lot more Rob Van Dams. With all the iconic gear he's had, you know, it'd be great if we had one that is distinctly ECW era with the not as detailed airbrush singlets, maybe a little scruffier face. But if you're talking iconic Rob Van Dam looks, absolutely one of them is his tiger stripe singlet. Love that we got that. Everything else is on point like it should be, you know. Similar to the original figure, the Rob Van Dam on the boots, the RVD thumb. What's really holding this figure back for me, though, is the face scan just isn't there. I mean, they're really, you know, when you look at what they were able to do with Mick Foley, that looks like you're looking right at, especially they captured young Mick Foley. So, you know, for them to not be able to really hit this Rob Van Dam, I'll give this Van Dam a 4 out of 5 also. Other than the face scan, there's nothing wrong with it. Not a lot of accessories. I mean, you know, he has a chair, but I don't know, maybe they could have done another head or something. Just the face scan's holding it back. So we'll go 4 out of 5 on the Van Dam also. Now, Hulk Hogan, Ruthless Aggression era Hulk Hogan. 4.5 out of 5. This figure is very close to a 5, but the face scan holds it back. I believe they just reused the head that they use for all the Hogans so far, or at least the ones that they use from 90s onward, or just in the 90s. Can't remember if he had a tiny bit of scruff when he had this look or not. I think he did. So obviously it's missing that. Having the sunglasses and the bandana makes it kind of an easy fix. But the accessories, I mean, he's got his weight belt, t-shirt, boas, sunglasses, bandana, multiple hands. You can finally do the Hulk Hogan pose with that outstretched hand. The tie-dye on the tights looks incredible. The detail on the boots, the knee brace is a nice touch. Once again, it's just a face scan, and other than hitting all the tire points, the face scan is what really makes these wrestling figures. So for them to just reuse a young Hogan face scan, that's gonna keep it at a 4.5 out of 5. But there you go, pretty good haul. Really good figures overall. Like I said a minute ago, figures from eras in these guys' careers that were really pivotal. And there you guys go. One final look. Triple B experience. Check out our YouTube channel. We got all sorts of other shows on there. We have our podcasts. We're on anywhere you can find podcasts. Check out our social medias. Tell your friends, share, subscribe, like, leave some comments. Tune in. We do a live, unscripted podcast every week, usually around the middle of the week. Check that out. Check out our other videos. Until next time, guys. Later.